still quite concerned about what's going to happen. I think it's really worrying that we aren't getting many answers to these questions. I'm really hoping that history doesn't repeat itself.
So I've been living in the apartments for over a year now. I moved in before semester 1 and straight away I didn't really know anyone, but straight away I met someone and then we met more people and then more people. We just formed a massive group of friends who hang out every day, and it's been really good.
Paramedic student Nicole Bryan is one of more than 1,000 students who live in University of Tasmania accommodation in Hobart. It's her second year living in the university's 440-bed Hobart apartments in the CBD, but her time in UTAS accommodation almost came to an abrupt end.
In developing news, hundreds of students who live in UTAS accommodation in Hobart say they're facing uncertainty tonight.
A letter from the then director of UTAS Student Living, Paul Bloomfield, was sent to students in December last year. We have needed to prioritise students who are coming here from other parts of Tasmania and students entering their first year of university study. The housing market continues to be tight, and we would encourage you to start exploring a range of options for next year.
When I got the letter, I was so angry. And it was just so late for them to send it because by that point everybody knew. We were just kind of hoping that it was just a massive joke. But yeah, when they sent that, it was so poorly worded. And again, it told us nothing about whether or not we would get a place here. And yeah, it just left me more confused than I was before it.
Soon after the letter was sent out, Tasmania University Union President Sharifa Saeed Rahan initiated a response. A petition against the university's move was launched. Within the first few hours, it had gained more than 1,000 signatures.
It just goes to show that students were feeling particularly aggrieved by this decision. And I think there was a sense of powerlessness about how they could really inform change. It is often really difficult with the university given its bureaucratic structures. So it was wonderful to see students rallying together, and particularly students who weren't even involved in the situation, but just coming together to support their fellow students.
Just when students thought the situation couldn't get any worse, news broke of a special offer preferencing international students. The offer gave students from overseas the opportunity to skip the accommodation queues and be allocated a room ahead of others.
It was really disheartening because it just confirmed that UTAS were just after student money rather than helping us get an education and furthering our education.
So I think that really added some fuel to the fire, so to speak, and got students really passionate about the matter. I think it was really important that the university did revoke the offer, but the fact that it was there to begin with is concerning.
It was an anxious wait for many existing residents, but just 4 days out from Christmas, the university announced additional accommodation will be available in Hobart for 2019. For many, this was the end of the story. For others, it was just the beginning.
They pretty much sent me an email at the end of December to say congratulations, you've been accepted, and then I didn't hear anything for a couple of weeks, and that's then when I got the phone call about mid-January.
Maddie White is one of a number of first-year students who were offered a place at the Hobart apartments as the situation unfolded. After offering returning residents to stay on, the university made the realisation they had overbooked the popular CBD complex.
So they said, "Hi Maddie," the person was introduced himself and he explained the situation and said, "We've overbooked students staying in the Hobart apartments. Your name is on the list for us to call and to see if we can convince you to move out, because if we can't find enough people to move out, then you may be kicked out."
Maddie was offered $2,000 towards her rent and a guaranteed car park if she relinquished her offer for the Hobart apartments and lived in Fountainside, a hotel which had recently been purchased by the university.
The rooms are really nice at the Fountainside, but they don't have a kitchen. And when we got that phone call and we decided to take the offer, it was of our impression from what we've been told from UTAS that it would be fully catered, because of the lack of kitchen. But when we went to check in, they informed us it was only going to be catered at night times and only 6 nights. But they refused to let us use the kitchen.
On the other side of the city, another addition to the university's accommodation portfolio was causing issues. The old Commerce building on the Sandy Bay campus was transformed into accommodation for 170 students, but for much of first semester, many of the beds weren't needed.
There was absolutely no community at all. And when you look at the other, like you have the other ones like John Fisher, Christ College, Jane Franklin and all that, like they're up here and the OC was just like completely down here. It was so rushed and the students were the ones that suffered the most.
At the end of semester 1, the OC disappeared as an option from the university's accommodation website.
Level 3.
The students were moved elsewhere and the building now lies vacant.
I came to UTAS because I thought they were an amazing university. And don't get me wrong, the degree side of UTAS is amazing, but the accommodation side is absolutely horrendous. And the OC is a prime example of that.
It's a common theme among students, according to Sharifa.
A number of students who have been residing in the new premises have outlined to me they're not happy with the quality of their accommodation and particularly the costs that's associated with it. However, students were in a particularly vulnerable position when they were accepting offers to university, in that they could either live at university accommodation or prolong their university studies. But I don't think that the university should be compromising the quality of accommodation just to meet demand. They should also be creating high quality accommodation bases that ensure students have the best outcomes.
Construction of a 421 bed development in Hobart's Melville Street is due for completion in 2021. But for students currently living in UTAS accommodation, uncertainty remains over what will happen at the end of this year. During their lease renewal process, students are being told that their current agreements do not guarantee an offer for 2020.
I think that the people who are already living here should get priority, and that goes for all accommodation around the state, because it's just not fair if you start a degree and you feel comfortable with the home you've made and the friends you've made and not being guaranteed that as you continue your degree.
I've spoken to members of senior management in recent weeks about whether the same saga will happen in December of this year, and they haven't exactly answered the question. However, I do hope that they are taking steps to ensure that it does not repeat itself, because we do not need students to be faced with that type of stress again.